What's going on, Misfit Nation? Welcome to another episode of the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Matt the Misfit. Tonight we're going to go over AEW Dynamite for March the 29th, 2023. We have a great show for you here today. This was a real, in my opinion, I thought this was a very good episode of Dynamite. We seen the in-ring return of Adam Cole. He took on Daniel Garcia in the main event. We seen Kenny Omega defend the IWGP United States Championship against Aussie Open's Jeff Cobb. We've seen Moxley and Blackpool Combat Club destroy Dalton Castle and the boys, and we've seen the return of Bryan Danielson. All that and much, much more. If you like what you see here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment down below. Look us up on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Misfit Wrestling Podcast, on the social media platforms, Twitter, Misfit Podcast TV, Misfit Wrestling Pod on Instagram, and on the audio platforms, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Audible, Amazon Music. There's another one that I'm thinking of right now that's escaping my head, but it's up there. All that, much, much more. Let's get on to AEW. Let's get into AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite opened up with Jungle Boy Jack Perry defeating Matt Hardy in an okay match. Ethan Page involved at one point in the match, but Hook comes out here and just destroys Ethan Page, and they leave the ring. But Jungle Boy eventually hits the flex of the snare trap or something or other. I believe it was the snare trap for the win. After the match, Jungle Boy is celebrating. MJF comes out here, tells Jack Perry it was kind of a Kanye West move to interrupt his rebar mitzvah last week, because that Jack Perry's comments from that night, and he agrees. He says he says his job is a joke. He barely wrestles. He gets a fat paycheck. He goes back to Long Island. And also he makes fun of the fans and all that stuff. Jack Perry. He says while Jack Perry's career has been mid at best, he says Jungle Boy. He credits Jungle Boy for climbing his way to the top of the card, and says that he has the right to be pissed at the lack of TV time. He can only feel that way about himself. MJF recalls their previous pay-per-view match that they had. I believe that was Full Gear 2020. I think it was Full Gear 2020, but I could be wrong on that. Basically, he says here that he's better than you, and you know it. Mentioned something about his little wee-wee, and tries to hit on Anna Jay, and that's when Jack Perry has had enough and starts beating up MJF, and MJF just walks away. Next up, you got a backstage segment. Not Dalton Castle. Don Callis is shown with Kenny Omega. He says he lost his balance last week, and it was his fault. He tried to, grab a hold of Hangman Page, and he fell. Then Don Callis starts questioning why Omega judged Adam Page straight away, and says that he'll take care of Page and apologize. Omega says that Page has hit you before. Then we've seen a bizarre video package of 2.0 treating the Acclaimed out for a night on the town. Something about joining the Inner Circle. That's really, really weird. I don't know what that deal is about here, but it's whatever. Dalton Castle and the boys try to make their entrance to the ring. out for their match with the Blackpool Combat Club, but they get blindsided by the Blackpool Combat Club. Nothing really. They got buried, basically. Got squashed and buried, and I didn't like it at all. There's not really much for me to say here, but that was a little bullshit on Tony Khan's part right there. Adam Page is shown backstage. He says Matt Jackson's bicep is partially torn, and says Nick Jackson has a shoulder injury. Confirms the BCC did it, but then Don Callis shows up. He apologizes to Page for last week and offers his hand for a handshake. But BBC turn up and they start beating up Adam Page, leaving him laying before Moxley also drops Don Callis, and which legitimately, I think he hit him legitimately because he was busted wide open. He was bleeding profusely, and it was confirmed by PW Insider that he was legitimately hurt in that segment tonight on Dynamite. Jeff Cobb comes out for his IWGP United States Championship match. Before the match, Tony Schiavone informs Kenny Omega of what happened to Page and Callis, and Omega's like, "Man, I got a match. I gotta focus and all that stuff." This match was actually really good. This is probably my favorite match of the night. Right away, Jeff Cobb shows disrespect to Kenny Omega. This match was being built up for weeks and months from New Japan Pro Wrestling. This issue, I believe, Kenny Omega it was either Omega or it was Jeff Cobb that put the challenge out back at New Year's Dash, the day after Kenny Omega won the IWGP US title from Will Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom. And then they've been building for it, and they've set it up here. Omega looks to fight back with a few shots of his own. Jeff Cobb instantly regains control with just one of his own shots to the cleaner. I want to note Kenny Omega came out to his Devil Sky New Japan music, which I was like, I love it. I like that they want to distinct the fact that when he's defending his New Japan title, he comes out to his New Japan theme, which I wish Moxley did that when he was defending the IWGP United States title. He came out to his fucking AEW theme. He came out to that fucking Wild Thing theme instead of his kick-ass New Japan theme. Which, if I'm being completely honest, his New Japan theme is better than his AEW themes. Both of them. That's just me. So Jeff Cobb tries to suplex Kenny Omega. Omega ends up landing on his feet, only to be caught with a quick right hand. However, there's a hesitation before he hits his next move. Omega reverses and hits the V trigger for a near fall. Later on in the match, Omega's trying to hit the one-winged angel. That didn't work out very well. Jeff Cobb then mocks Omega, delivers the V trigger of his own before hitting a one-winged angel on. Or he was trying to hit a one-winged angel on Omega, but Omega blocked it. Omega then blocks the tour of the islands. Omega gets a V trigger of his own, powers Jeff Cobb up for the one-winged angel to retain the championship. Fun IWGP United States title match. I want to see more of Jeff Cobb on AEW television. Or just Jeff Cobb anywhere, really. Jeff Cobb is amazing. After the match, Blackpool Combat Club surrounds the ring, but Bryan Danielson makes an interesting return. This one, actually, I didn't see this one coming, so kudos to Tony Khan on this one. Danielson tells the Blackpool Combat Club to get off the ring apron as he makes them back down from the attack. Danielson lifts Omega up. Omega turns around to look at the rest of the BCC. Next thing you know, Usaiku knee kick by Bryan Danielson, and Bryan Danielson, quote unquote, turns heel, I guess. and rejoins the faction that he never left or never turned on it. I don't get it. The people on the internet kind of just don't understand how wrestling works, apparently. He locks into the bell lock while the rest of the group fights off security and Brandon Cutler. I love how it's just how what I have down here says locks in the bell lock, fights off the security and Brian Cutler or Brandon Cutler. That's funny to me. So yeah, this is very interesting. It does look like that Blood and Guts is going to be the Elite versus the Blackpool Combat Club. Right now it's 4-on-4. And I think it should stay that way. Because really, realistically, there's not very many people that you could put in the Elite that can get that spot. I mean, you could try something here, like who else can they bring in here? Like, they can't bring Cody Rhodes because he's in AEW. They can bring Kota Ibushi. That's one name that a lot of people. I didn't think about that one. Kota Ibushi's out there. Marty Scurll's an asshole, but we can't bring him in. Anderson and Gallows are signed with WWE. Adam Cole is going to be starting a feud with Jericho, obviously. Bobby Fish is an Impact, and Kyle O'Reilly is injured. So it's probably going to be, if they're going to do a 5-on-5, I don't know who else they would get. I mean, who else they would get for the Blackpool Combat Club, but they can get for the Elite. They can get Kota Ibushi, which I think is a fine idea. Next up, we got a video package. We got the Gun Club. They were backstage mocking how long it took for FTR to get to the top, claiming that they politicked getting to get their upcoming title match. That was a mouthful right there. They say FTR were their heroes, but not anymore. And next week, FTR's tag line makes sense. Top guys out. Then we got a decent match. Orange Cassidy defeated the Butcher to retain the AEW International Championship. Best friends come out to fend off the Blade. Orange Cassidy hits the orange punch and then the beach break to retain the championship. Fine match. Nothing too special happened there. Video package showing Juice Robinson claiming that his match against Action Andretti will be what it's like, just going. Basically saying what's going to happen to Action Andretti. It's the same thing that's going to happen to Ricky Starks. Then we got the 9:30 women's match here. The usual 9:30 women's match. Willow Nightingale loses to Ruby Soho. Willow Nightingale, I don't think, is on Supercard of Honor this week on Friday. No, she's not. I had to look at the card here. Okay match. Ruby Soho gets the win here with Ruby Soho's feet on the ropes. Storm holds on to the ropes here. The Outcast, terrible fucking name. Then grab a chair, put around Nightingale's ankle. Riho, the lovely Riho, and apparently Sky Blue was there too, makes the save, only to be outnumbered as well. However, the return of Jamie Hayter, the AEW Women's Champion, comes out here. Massive pop for Jamie Hayter. She clears the ring with the hate breaker to Soho, while the others scamp away. Also, there was a stare down between Soho and Jamie Hayter, because they will be wrestling for the IWGP the title next week before the main event, or before we get to our main event. We got next week's show for Dynamite, the first show of April, obviously. We got Jamie Hayter, like I said, defending her AEW Women's title against Riho. That match should be freaking great. Hopefully they get the same amount of time they gave the match with Tony Storm and the match with Hikaru Shida. AEW World Tag Team title match. The Guns defend their titles against FTR. If FTR loses, they are out of AEW. Ricky Starks versus Juice Robinson. We got a promo with Blackpool Combat Club and MJF Day, whatever the fuck that means. But there's that. Main event. Adam Cole defeated Daniel Garcia in a fine, and I'm calling it. It was fine. It was fine. Adam Cole wins. Hits the boom after a Panama Sunrise. 1, 2, 3. It's great to see Adam Cole back on TV. I've missed seeing him wrestling. I miss seeing him in general. So I'm glad Adam Cole is back. So that is fine to see. After the match, Britt Baker makes her way to the ring. They start sharing a hug and all that stuff, confetti and stuff. Jericho's music hits. He comes out to the ring to pull down Garcia to walk down the ring. But Jericho refused to look at Cole, which is very interesting because it seems like they're going to be doing a program with Adam Cole and I'm going to say Hangman Page, Adam Cole and Chris Jericho. That was AEW Dynamite. I want to go over. So I thought AEW Dynamite tonight was solid. Last week's show was okay, but that match with Vikingo, boy, I didn't get to talk about it, but hot damn, that match was incredible. That match was fucking fire, and you know what? I'm gonna run down Ring of Honor too. Not run down Supercard of Honor here. So let's talk about Ring of Honor's television show from tomorrow night's show. If I can find if I can find what they have listed here. So here is what we got tomorrow for Ring of Honor. Miyu Yamashita. She makes an appearance. She takes on Jocelyn McKenzie. ROH 6-man tag team match. The Embassy. I take on JP Griffey. Dak Draper. Is Draper or Draper or whatever. And Aaron Singh. Ozzy Open will take on Tony Nese and Arya Daivari. Roosh and Jurlisico who will be a team with the Kingdom to take on the Top Flight and Lucha Brothers. Mark Briscoe will be there to address stuff for AEW Dynamite. So AEW Ring of Honor. So here's the card for Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor. That's going to happen on Saturday or Thursday. Or no, it's not Thursday. Friday night. So we have a match that was just announced not that long ago on social media. Hiroshi Tanahashi will be taking on Daniel Garcia. That one came out of left field, but I'm very excited for it. The AAA Mega Championship, El Hijo del Vikingo will be defending his title against Commander. That's Commodore. It's either the Commander or Commodore. They reached for the Sky Ladder match for the vacant ROH tag team titles. The Lucha Bros versus Top Flight versus the Kingdom versus Ozzy Open versus La Faction Ingonable. It was also confirmed today that Tony Khan will be retiring the current design of the Ring of Honor tag team titles, and new ones will be introduced on Friday. I think that's a right call. I think that's a right call. I'm going to probably do predictions here, just so I can have a little more time on this review here. But here's what I got in mind here. So, I'm gonna go over the rest of this card here. Wheeler Yuta will take on Katsuyori Shibata. That should be fucking great for the Pure Championship. Oh my God, they're gonna beat the shit out of each other. I'm gonna love it. Athena will defend the Ring of Honor Women's Championship against Yuka Sakazaki. Samoa Joe will defend the TV Championship against Mark Briscoe, and then the main event, of that show will be Claudio Castagnoli defending against Ring of Honor against Eddie Kingston. Quick predictions for this card here. Vikingo will retain his championship against Commodore. I think the Kingdom is going to walk away with the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. I think Hiroshi Tanahashi is going to defeat Daniel Garcia. I think the Embassy is going to retain the 6-man tag team titles, even though Brian Cage's contract reportedly ends after Supercard of Honor. Wheeler Yuta is going to retain the Pure Championship against Shibata. Athena is going to retain the Women's Championship, which I think if I'm playing my cards right, this is just me. I think Miyu Masuda, you should challenge next for the Women's Championship. I think Mark Briscoe is going to win the Television Championship from Samoa Joe. And I think Eddie Kingston is going to win the Ring of Honor Championship from Claudio Castagnoli. So that's my little predictions for AEW, or not AEW, for Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor. So again, this weekend is going to be hella crazy. I'm going to try to get the my goal is to eventually get the WrestleMania predictions out tomorrow, hopefully, crossing my fingers. How we're going to get that out here. Then we got the Ring of Honor review later on that night. The Go Home show that was filmed before Dynamite. That's going to be airing tomorrow. The Go Home show for the Ring of Honor's Supercard of Honor. Friday, we get the SmackDown review and the Ring of Honor review at the same time. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'll figure it out. Saturday afternoon, we got the first 2 rounds of Stardom Cinderella tournament. That will be reviewed on there too. And then later on that night 1 for WrestleMania 39, and the night 2 on Sunday night for WrestleMania 39. But yeah, that's what I got coming up this week here. Again, if you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, comment down below, all that stuff. I said it early at the beginning of the episode. I will see you guys back here tomorrow for Ring of Honor and possibly, hopefully, the WrestleMania predictions show. We'll also find out, hopefully tomorrow, what match, where each match is going to take place. We're not going to know the match card. All we know is what's opening night 1 and what's closing night 2. Opening night 1 obviously is John Cena versus Austin Theory for the United States Championship, and then main eventing the entire thing to close out WrestleMania 39 is Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. But until then, I will see you guys back here for Ring of Honor tomorrow, hopefully the predictions for WrestleMania. Until then, we're out.